Rick, you're next.
Okay, all I came for is Nicole said she couldn't write up a lease for my hangar without orders from the commissioners. Is that correct, Scott?
Yes.
So they told me to show up here. I mean, I just need a lease on my hangar. The value of that thing is worth nothing as far as selling it to somebody else if you don't have a long-term lease on it.
She said that he needed to come and ask you guys, and then you needed to
Make an
decide
agreement
whether you wanted Nicole to do an agreement, which is the formal process.
Nicole said there was no record of me meeting with you before. I sat right here and talked to Nicole one day, and she said it would cost the county too much money because they'd have to do a survey to get the legal description of everything. And I said, Nicole, they send me a tax bill on it every year with a physical address. Just put down something simple like the land underneath that property. And she said it's not that simple. So
Well,
you'd think there'd have to be some way that you could do something without it costing the county a bunch of money. You know, if I don't have a lease on the property,
there's no reason to have the building.
you're not going to buy it because the county could say, we're going to do something different with this land. You have to move your building to get it off. So I just need a long-term lease on it.
All we really need to do is make a motion and pass to direct the county attorney to draft a lease proposal between the county and Rick Rogers.
What she emailed me last week or so was the board has to decide if they want to grant any lease, and then it goes from there.
I see no reason not to.
I mean, the other hangars up there have long-term leases on them.
Yeah, how was this overlooked in the first place? It's just,
I came to the commissioners when I wanted to build a hangar up there, which has been 15 years ago now, and they said, build it. We'll just write you a long-term lease, just what, same thing as the other hangars have.
but they
Fine.
never did.
Just never did happen. Just never has happened. Now I'm getting to the age where someday I'm going to want to sell,
Yeah.
quit flying, and I just think it's time that it happens. I'm not saying it has to happen today or tomorrow or this year, but the
Crease Flying Service has 50-year lease on their tanks and their, to operate up there, and then they have a 50-year lease on one set of hangars there.
I used to be one of those hangars there that
And
had
Dave
50-year lease on it.
I believe it needs to be redone, but has a long-term lease.
And I don't want to have to make the county cost $4,000 or $5,000 to do a survey.
But we want to be legally correct when it comes to the end. I mean,
Well, I understand that too, but there ought to be a simpler way to do it, but there is not.
we are learning there's not very many simple things.
I know what you're saying.
Do we want to table this until we can have a discussion with the county attorney, or do we want to make a motion to go ahead and have her move forward?
I don't think it makes any difference. We're going to have to move forward.
Yeah.
I
One
mean,
way or another.
I'm fine with it. You don't have to make a decision today. For me, I'm fine with that.
But we don't want to be like the commissioners 15 years ago and forget this thing either. We want to get it done.
So that's all I have. And you
It's
guys can
already
do whatever you need to do.
established. I don't know that we got any choice.
Yeah, I don't see where we could go wrong by doing it.
We do too. Could be our hangar.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Yeah, but I don't own an airplane, so there you go. Wouldn't do me any
You
good.
can take possession of it tomorrow. Really. That's why nobody would buy it without a long-term lease on it.
But it does seem like there's got to be a simple way to put a lease on it.
It'd about have to be.
I would
I mean, I
agree.
don't think we
that
ought
would
to
be
have
the-
to have it surveyed. I mean,
Well, like Rick says, he's already paying taxes on it. If it has a legal description there,
It's got a
How
physical
would-
address.
how would that legal description vary from a lease agreement? I don't.
Well, it looks like on the buildings that Gray says leased, he can use the same language And just change the name and the address on the building.
I would think so, but I think you need to visit with your attorney about it too, so.
I agree.
That's all I care about, and it don't have to be done today.
Okay.
Well, it's not
I'd
gonna
like to have it
happen
done.
with this attorney anyway.
What's that?
It's not gonna happen with this attorney anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard she was leaving or something.
She's a resignation, we got.
I just want to bring it to your attention, so whatever you come up with.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Okay.
it.
We'll
All
get
right,
it
Rick,
done.
thank you.
Yep.
I forget what was the date of her,
June 15th,
June 19th, I believe,
18th,
19th.
19th.
I got it somewhere. June 19th at 5 PM. Boy, she detailed.
I doubt if she's gonna get anything done on it anyway, by then. Did we ever sign that agreement,
With,
the airport with Grace's?
Yeah.
We did go ahead and sign it.
I could not find a copy here, so I contacted Robert and
Thought we were gonna have her look at it, and I didn't know if she did that or not.
that I can't, I'm
We
sure.
tabled it at one meeting, and I didn't remember if we signed it.
I think we did, but I could be wrong.
She wasn't here the day Robert was in here, and we tabled it to have her look at it.
the airport agreement, the yearly one, yeah, we did do
Yeah,
that.
I was thinking we did. And I suppose this would be a good time to kind of discuss the process for the county attorney. If she resigns so long after the last election,
I believe, and I need to go back, I need to call the Secretary of State's office, but I think if it's after May, we don't have to do,
well, I think it was June 1.
Right.
I read somewhere.
we don't have to do a special election or anything on it.
It could be appointed.
It could be appointed if it was.
By the governor, probably.
Well, the process starts with what party will be the Republican Party. I think they send forth a name to the governor's office, and then he does that, the appointment from there, after he does the background and all that. That's the reason I was asking about the names of the people on the Republican Party. Do you know when she's going to be back in her office?
I think tomorrow she just had I can't remember what she called it, some training she had to go to. Sheriff's reviews.
I'll try to go down tomorrow and talk to her.
We do have a story this week, and nobody has applied yet. They have to apply to the Republican Party. That's what we've been told.
I did have an attorney call me last night and wanted to know who was on the Republican Party. And Perry Kelly was the only name I could come up with. I couldn't tell her.
And we ended up contacting Trish too.
Okay,
Trish Willis.
Trish Willis.
I think she's the head of it. But I've heard of several attorneys interested in it.
Well, I truly had one call me personally and was asking those questions, and I felt kind of dumb. I don't know. I'm a Republican, but I don't know who's on the committee right now. But we'll find out. Hi, Matt.
Morning.
What are you trying to sell us today, buddy?
Well, nothing more than what he's asking for, so. He talked to me a couple weeks ago about wanting to get the whole county offices on the same antivirus program. I believe it's a good idea. Got the firewalls at all the locations you have internet now, and they'll provide that connection coming in from the internet side, but standardizing antivirus should be a good next step. Unfortunately, I guess you could say, My company doesn't have an offering for just antivirus only. We have our, what we call our desktop light package. It's as low as I can go. It includes all your antivirus, as well as patch management on all the computers, so there's something that automatically checks for the updates that are needed for Microsoft, whether it's for Word or if it's for Windows, or it does Adobe updates and Java and that type of stuff, some of the third-party ones as well. So we normally have that set up. It'll check the computers each week. Anything that's critical or important automatically gets approved and pushed to the computer to get installed, so nobody has to do anything. It also provides that reporting for you, so that on the light package, our company doesn't do it, but it could. Monitor that, make sure those are getting installed, or go look at the computer if it's not for some reason. As well as it puts an agent on there to allow remote support access, whether that be us or Eric can use it as well. If it's not something set here in the building, we wouldn't have to drive out to the shop
Could you
So-
repeat
You get a lot more than just the antivirus, but I don't know if he handed that out. I did bring, I sent this to him. Well, I just brought one so you guys can pass it out. It's at $7 per device per month. Figured it at about 45 devices for the whole county, so that's what's on there, showing you what your total monthly
So this
bill.
$315 would be a monthly charge.
Yes.
What are we doing now?
Sophos is like, well, those 13 licenses, I think we're paying $750 a year for those.
I was just looking at that.
The ESET's pretty cheap, it's about $1 a machine. Or we're paying $300 a year for those, he only has like 15 licenses there, so. But it's simply antivirus.
Well, Eric was kind of waiting on another quote from
Yeah.
Next Tech, and
I think we've whittled it down to matter next tech, it's just a matter of
So-
handling the details.
What is for Reach Solutions, we just wrote a check for 400 to the EM building. Is that an annual fee of some kind?
That was for the Sonic wall.
Oh, okay.
That was the install.
That was the install for the Sonic hole.
I think you guys had approved purchasing the new Sonic wall to go up there, and then we moved theirs to the county shop. And then, so that was just billed separately with the labor for the install for those two.
So are we overlapping anywhere? Are we under contract with anybody on some of this stuff?
Some of the Sophos stuff, I think we'd let expire before we added those licenses on.
Right now, you're currently not overlapping the way I understand it. You've got two different vendors you're using at different locations for antivirus. And so what Eric was saying, Sophos probably doesn't expire for
I think it's February. isn't it?
February. So we could add all the devices that are going to expire now or that don't have anything.
That's what I
And
was
just
concerned
add
about, is
those.
not,
Yeah, we
wouldn't
could
have
just add
all of
those when those expire.
okay.
Yep.
Because you said something about you only offer so much, or I don't know how you put it, but
Yeah,
you offer a complete package, you just don't offer antivirus.
correct. So you would be getting everything I talked about on, say, 30 devices now,
Okay,
and then those 13 that get added
okay,
in.
whenever they
all right.
Get added to those. So.
Well, we'll let Eric continue working on it. I like the fact that you're close.
Yeah, it's a big benefit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in all reality, if I'm gone on vacation and something craps out and I can't remote to it, it's all that.
Well, I know Matt keeps a busy phone. I know that from the hospital.
I do.
I say he's helped me out a bunch.
Yeah, there's been a few things we've done over the last few months. Computer here or there that we've had to work on, is aside from antivirus stuff. That's the other thing that contract would get you would be the reduced hourly rate from us on that type of work if we have to, so
Good.
that's on that quote.
What was the, what did you tell me the full price was?
Full price is $125, I haven't put that on there, and it goes down to $110 an hour.
Save a little money.
And then we have that remote support capability, so instead of having to wait until somebody can drive here. when we have-
That's the part I like.
Yeah. I like that part too.
I bet.
Sounds like you don't wanna see us.
Not that I don't want to see you, but
Don't wanna see it.
I'm
Well,
stuck
that simplify-
somewhere else and I have the ability to hop on the laptop, I can.
Yeah,
I can do
it's
that.
so much handier to be able to do that remotely.
So,
Okay, Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You'll be
Yes.
hearing from us.
anything else?
We're down to Dave.
Very good.
You get that other one.
Can we go into executive session and talk on this a little bit? You know where it came from me.
Yeah, she was like a man.
Yes.
I don't know what we call it.
Non-elected person? That's the reason he was bringing it. He didn't want to be on camera.
That didn't help us out any.
I know.
Surprised me, they were, when I left.
But I think it's something probably that needs to be addressed. It'd be $80,000.
But he hasn't come in or wanted on the agenda to ask us about this. Has it already been approved or
What I don't know is if.
by the airport board?
Next day, if they switch it off, then they will I imagine. Well, I'm sure. That's what it is. To provide all this stuff.
I know that. I did ask her.
It says they intend to
They
award.
also found this software.
Bring you up to speed. I was, gentleman handed this to me. That the airport is gonna do a project for $598,000. And it's a grant. I don't know why, I think it's 10% for us. But the airport authority has the money there already. It's been. But then there's an alternative bid of $83,000 they're gonna put in.
Concrete apron.
Concrete aprons, so later down the road, they can put a new hangar in. And do we want to put the aprons in now for a hangar we might build? That we won't build, somebody will build it, and then we'll have to give them a lease on it. And that apron's gonna cost $83,000.
So the concern was, do we want to take, do we want to pay $83,000 for the apron approach that's just going to benefit one individual?
But we don't know if we have any control over it. The airport authority has the money.
The one thing about it is the final folder selection.
And like I
They
said, the
have
individual,
already budgeted for this thing.
that's my understanding.
That's the one about.
But they don't need the apron now.
Yeah, you can select them.
I know I think you've got the money in there, don't you?
I think it's, and this is my understanding, once you award that budget, whoever receives the budget, they can spend that however they want to. They can't come back and ask for more, but once we approve that, I think it's out of our hands at that point. But again, there's another question for Nicole.
I don't know if we
you
can do
said
it.
something about doing some improvements on the aprons and all, but I didn't have any ideas what it was.
Well, the concern was it was just going to benefit one individual and not the entire community. But again, I don't know what kind of control we have over that once it's been allocated.
I don't know, we need Nicole here more than we do.
Yeah.
Lindsay comes through the Department of Transportation.
Well, what, this probably really doesn't have anything to do with the airport. It's not gonna make the airport safer, it's just an apron to go to a hangar that will be built in the future. That's what I was under.
That's the way I've got it too. $83,000 worth of concrete.
It seems like if somebody's gonna build a hangar, they ought to pay for the apron to get to the runway. And then you lease the land and the apron and the hangar, you're gonna lease the land under that. But that's where I think they're coming from, but I don't know.
Me either. I don't know enough about it or how those agreements or even where the money's come from.
I don't.
Well, all we can do is try to find out.
I would say it's gonna cost the county $8,000. 10% of the
Who gave you this paper?
Rick Rogers.
Blueprints for the plans?
I'm sorry?
You want the
Didn't want to be on camera.
blueprints for the airport plans?
For the new aprons?
Yeah,
Do you have those?
yeah,
Those all been approved? And see, we're a little behind here.
I can do that.
Okay.
Which, yeah, we're behind, but we're not really involved in it. It's
Yeah,
kind of like the
that's-
hospital board. Once they're appointed and the money is in their hands, they handle it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like any department. Let's take Cody's, for instance. Once we give him his budget, he can spend that any way he wants to. He just
He's got a truck problem.
truck roll.
Yep, I just got the information.
Oh, good.
So on them quick attacks, we had one that started doglegging the other day, and got off in it. He sheared the pins off. Anders has it all pulled apart. The springs are bent. Everything's wrong. It's gonna be about $2,000 to fix it. So
It is what it is.
So move that we fix it.
Yeah, it's an essential piece of equipment that we gotta have, so.
luckily, he just told me, and I'm like, oh, he's texting this guy, hey, can I get in now?
You know, I wondered, I was sitting at the C-Mart having my coffee, and Dustin Anders come driving by on one of them quick attacks, and he was just putting along. I thought, that's not how Dustin Anders drives. So that was the reason.
Yeah,
he was
probably.
about that.
And who knows how long before the other one's gonna be in the same boat. I think we're overweight. They were figuring up weight, so I think they're overweight.
Well, that causes.
Well, they might be overweight if they would get along if you were just going up down the highways, but not through pastures and cow trails.
These are heavier springs that he's gonna order.
So that's probably the reason why they got the wandering so much going down the road.
I think the winter end of walking and it finally just tweaked. So, that's all I need.
I don't know
You
if
guys
we need
have-
an approval or a motion to go ahead and approve the repairs or.
Yeah, it's over so many thousand, so we'll probably do.
Let's do it.
And I so moved that we.
Second.
Okay, it's been, motion's been made and seconded that we go ahead and make the necessary repairs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed?
That's it. That's all I had.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
If he gets to 5,000, come back.
Oh, I will.
County fire truck.
Yes.
First response trucks, the quick attack trucks.
There's no contract in Bruce Webb's file. There's a way, but it says contract agreement, but it's
Jumping back, I would imagine on some of this stuff that Amanda brought in, if these people are working part-time, they're probably paying their own health insurance and stuff. They're under contract to counties.
Well,
You know, that would add up to a bunch if you were paying your own health insurance.
Well, the way that handbook's written, she can't get any health insurance unless for less than 40 hours a week.
I agree with that. I think that's absolutely true. Dave must be hunting up his blueprints. So do we know, has this project already been pre-approved in the past, or
what are you talking about?
for the airport apron concrete?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been approved.
There's one for everybody there.
Okay.
I believe they have 2 bids.
Now, you'll see where them 4 crosses in the middle, that's where they're planning on replacing this parking pad. That's what I call it. They call it something else. And then, see, then I think that extension is to the south is where the new hangars are gonna be.
What didn't make
This is, you got the directions right. This is north. So this is where they're gonna replace these parking areas, and then this is the new
Okay, this is the new portion.
extension for the taxiway.
And these hangars are non-existent at this time, but
Correct. So have you guys seen the bids?
no.
Okay. I mean, they sent these to me, so.
I take that back, we do have a copy of that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we just got it.
We just handed it to us.
I know it just come out last week or something like that. So.
Are you familiar with this?
Some, I try to go to the airport meetings.
Explain to us the alternate bid.
I'm not positive. I assume it's the extension. I assume it's this taxiway extension.
From where?
But this bid is for this area.
Yes.
So this would just be this whole stretch plus,
I think from there to here is what I believe it is.
and do you know, was this approved by the airport board?
I think that was the last one.
320.
So they're wanting to put this little runway out here, and then they're gonna put hangars,
That was what their hope was, yes.
225 footers, or 325s and a 20. So they're not gonna build those aprons here, they're just this here.
Well, in the future, those will, that little piece will service 4 hangars, 4 new hangars, if built, correct? Dave, it says, and from the 3/20/17 minutes, there was some discussion about additional hangars to be built on the airport. It was also discussed about property leases on the airport, whether proposed new hangars are to be built. Dave Fleming said he would check with the county attorney about those property leases. Did you do that?
I checked with her and haven't got a response yet. Because I know Rick still has to get his cleared up.
Yeah, he was just in here.
Yeah.
It was referred back to a previous airport commission meeting.
Because we also have some problems with the Good Sam. You know, there's some errors on the surveys on that, and we still got to go through that. That's been a couple years ago, I bet. And we discussed that when Gerald was here at the end of the year.
I'm gonna say we already know that when they did the new survey.
Correct.
Everything was off 3.5 feet or something.
Well, there was just lots of errors on it. Yeah.
So can you answer, if we'd have to have that surveyed for Rick's hangar, is it gonna have to be surveyed?
No, I think it's been surveyed. I think it's just the lease agreement has to be drawn up.
Really?
That's the way I interpret it. Because it's on county property.
Right.
Rick kind of indicated to us that when he spoke with the county attorney, one of the things she was hesitant about was the county spending money to have this thing surveyed. And
the
we're all a
building is.
bit confused here on what actually needs to be
Because
done.
Rick just said, he come to the commissioners, and the commissioner said, build it, we'll give you a lease. Now, if we have to have it surveyed, who's responsible for the survey? To lease something?
I'd be tempted to say it'd be the landowner, but it's on county property, so I couldn't say for sure how you'd view that. And normally you don't have to have a survey. He has his, what do you call it, a property lease?
Well,
But he doesn't have one.
Well,
but he's paying taxes on a certain piece of property that already has a legal description.
that's what I'm getting after. So once you have the legal description, I'm not sure it has to be surveyed per se.
That's
and-
kind of my feeling, but
Well, that's what I hope it's that way.
But she still has to do the lease agreement.
right.
Yeah.
But her hang-up was she wasn't going to do a lease agreement without it being surveyed, is basically what she told Rick.
Okay. Okay.
We're all kind of thinking the same way. Why do we need a survey for, the building's already there, it's existing, he's already paying taxes on that piece of property that has a description. I don't know why we couldn't use that versus a survey. There again, we're carrying on without a county attorney, so
Okay.
we don't know. But thanks for your help. That's helped a little bit.
Is the shaded, all the shaded area, is that what's gonna be
Bill?
built?
Yes.
Well,
I think what they've actually, what we've approved is this piece, wasn't it? So
yeah, to me, this bid here is for that area to the
Right there.
west.
Right there.
To the
Or
north.
to the north, I'm
Yes.
sorry. To the north. This alternate bid is for that.
And the
And it
aprons?
may be them 4. That's the way it looks on that plan.
Yeah,
So.
it does.
And 4 aprons.
For 4 more potential hangars.
Just the
Well, it says-
aprons to the hangers.
Right.
They discussed that on 7/11 of 2016.
Yeah.
But I know this part's been approved and they got the grant money for it, because I've already seen that.
Yes.
That's what Dave Yost was telling us the last time he was in.
Yeah,
But I
KDOT
don't
will,
know nothing about this piece.
KDOT will reimburse Cheyenne County 90% up to a maximum of 30, so wait, this might be for the AWAS, 37,800. Yeah, this is for the AWAS. That's the AWAS. I'm not sure I've got that other, where the KDOT's letter, I'm not sure I have that one, so. David Robert, gonna be the one to do it on that. I don't think I have it.
Well, that $94,000 looked like our responsibility.
Well, that's about what it was before, but I thought all he was talking about when Yost was in here was this piece. But I did see in this paper here that they'd done some stuff so it didn't change it. And so basically that's what they're figuring on using to spend for that. Because it's sitting in there, some of this they didn't have to fully replace. And this must be where it's cracked, right? Is that what
Yes.
this is?
Yeah, the first contractor in there probably, oh, time flies, 8, 10 years, did a horrible job. And that's where we got frustrated. The inspector didn't stop them and make them do it right either. It got by, but, and it passed standards, but it wasn't very good. And it was asphalt.
Says the FAA amount is $750,000, the airport share would be $94,000.
That's correct.
And I think Rodney said they had 90,000 that was budgeted for.
When was that?
Yeah, I know they've got some budget.
Yeah.
Said that last year.
Or is 90,000 in new money, I think is what was budgeted for this year.
I assumed you were getting these emails, or I'd have emailed them to you.
Well, we're just gonna have to ask more questions about this. But again, thanks, Dave, for sharing that information on us.
I'll let you keep the map, and I want to keep the other stuff. Okay. And this one. But the way I read that last email, once they get the airport to approve it, they're gonna go ahead. Okay.
I think that's correct. Doing great on your budget, aren't you?
Doing great, yeah. But I haven't got into asphalt season either. That's the reason I gotta do some more research on bids and things like that, so,
I hope I didn't jinx it.
yeah. As far as the work report, busy blading and trying to do some graveling. And then with the rainy days, we did a lot of work at cleaning and painting the shop. We did all the sealing the walls and everything and whitening it, brightened it up a bunch.
In the past week, I've had 2 positive comments about their roads from county residents, so,
And we've got a long ways to go. We've got some big windrows we're still working with.
yeah.
Yeah, this week will make a big difference. We'll get some decent blading and drying weather.
But
So,
again, it's always a pleasure to get a compliment instead of,
the other way.
yeah.
What, do we own all that oil out there? Out by Delbert Riley's?
Yes, we own one pile of that.
I hope the little one.
It is. The big one they own.
What are they gonna do with it?
I think they're waiting for us to try to find a home for it. I don't know. There's one
You been by
pile.
there?
There's one pile.
Holy, there's a pile of milled asphalt. It is huge.
South of the highway there before you get to the curve.
Yes, I mean, it is a huge pile.
The big pile was just like it's asphalted sand. And I don't know where you could use it other than like driveways or alleys or something like that. Because, once you get the asphalt rubbed off of it, I think it'd just turn into a washboard. But
I just,
with much traffic, that's what I'm getting after. That's the reason I wasn't even interested in it. But there's a pile.
oh, it's,
Yeah, it's
I
huge.
can't believe they
I
have
got
that much
my-
left over. Have you been by there?
I've been by there.
I mean, the only reason I know, I went out that way to pick up a bull the other day. I went, holy crow. Because I'm sure they're paying
I'll pay the lease on
the
that.
lease on that land until they move it.
We have Mark Coleman's.
Yep.
And then they're paying lease out here on 36,
Yes.
and see
And
they was
they-
gonna do that, and then
they
KDOT
boarded
pulled,
Project.
yep, for a year. So. I offered the job to Dan Wilkins, and he did accept it starting tomorrow. So,
He needs to come in and,
I'm sorry.
he needs to come in and fill out paperwork.
He'll be there tomorrow morning. Yeah. Okay. Somewhere I'm missing my letter. I need to know the progress of the grant writing. Or
Yeah.
grant writer, or where we're going with that. I got an email. Let me just get that email, and then you guys can, I'm sorry.
I don't know what the hell he talking about.
Unfortunately, I do.
Do you ever remember the name of the person you talked to would write grants for us?
Oh, contractual. I got that information through Carol Sloper, so we can contact her for that information.
Where are we at on the new ambulance?
It's supposed to be delivered today, I think.
Today? What's junk iron worth now?
I'm not positive. I think 65 to 70. Down a bunch. I think it's gradually picking up a little bit. So
I just, those guys were getting a lot for those old vehicles when they were hauling them up there. When we sell a pickup for $270, it's almost junk iron, isn't it?
Should have bid on it.
What would I do?
Yeah, it used to be $500 a pickup a couple,
That's what I mean.
3 years ago.
A few years ago, they'd haul them up there $450 for a car.
So, we talked about last meeting of hiring a full-time position to split the two jobs plus help in your office. Is that still the direction we'd like to go?
I guess I thought it was a part-time.
Well, we'll check with these guys. I thought we was gonna go ahead and make it a full-time position that would make it more attractive.
Let me give that to Scott when you're done. Let me give that to Scott. I'm not sure if he knows.
Do you remember, Ed?
Well, that's kind of the way I remembered. I mean, we did discuss it. But I was thinking we wanted full-time so they could do more than one job.
That's the way I interpreted it. I've got a couple individuals that are kind of interested in it, but one only wants to work part-time, or did. But we've never advertised for a position, is that correct?
For a grant?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Did we?
I think you put it together with the grant and the,
Transportation.
Just for part-time, that was part-time.
That was part-time.
And we had 2 applications, is that correct?
Yes.
And then we discussed at the last meeting, it might be more beneficial to everybody, including Scott, if we, the way I remember it, was offered as a full-time position. That individual will do the grant writing and the transportation, plus help in the county clerk's office. But we never advertised for a full-time position for that.
Well, I think we were tabled it to think about.
Are you still willing to go down that path? I know you voiced some concern about,
Somewhat. I mean,
I'd be curious to know how many calls they're actually getting now. And I don't know what that is. But I think we need to make a decision and get going on it, because I've got a couple of people that,
well, my situation is, we got this, I want to apply for the Danger Jansen grant, which Carol cannot do.
Cannot do.
So we got to do something there. And then I got to get, hopefully we could get some money from there to make it match money for my NACA grant, so we can do it. I mean, we got enough to do some, but I'd rather take full advantage of it while I'm doing this NACA grant, so we can do some more tree removal of the Russian olive and the tamarisk salt cedars.
and that comes through Dane G. Hansen.
No, that
No.
comes through, this NACA is a national, whatever, National Wildlife Grant Federation or something
Well,
like that.
to my understanding, and referencing back to that letter from Carol, she can still write grants for us on a contractual basis. Anything except for the Dane G. Hansens.
Correct.
We'd have to find somebody else to do that. Where do you think we ought to go with this? Personally, I like the idea of hiring a full-time person
yeah.
and multitasking them. Because there are times when Scott needs help, whether it be payroll or election time.
Yeah, right, election time. The biggest thing right now is catching the deeds.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean,
Can we keep that person busy for full time?
my office?
Well-
No, but I think with all that, I mean,
Yeah.
What kind of qualifications are we looking at to write grants?
Well, not much, but Carol Sloper said she would be willing to help these people, whoever we selected, she'd be willing to help them, guide them down the path of more education, where to go for information. She'd be willing to still help us out in that area. I don't know how we would advertise it. It would. We may be asking for more than what.
Are we gonna try to keep them in the courthouse?
That's what I'd like to do.
I would too. And then we gotta give them an office somewhere,
I mean, to start out, I think they could be in here. I
think so,
I don't
too.
think I'm gonna wind up having to need, after those deeds get done, I won't really need the help, and then maybe we can move them downstairs where the old sheriff's office is. I think there's, 3 offices down there.
Yeah, I think so too. We have the spaces available. So do we want to go ahead and move forward with advertising for a full-time position?
Yeah, I'm in favor, but I just don't know how we're gonna word it.
I don't know either. Jack of all trades needed. I don't know. But I think if we strictly try to make it a part-time position, you're not going to have near the interest. And plus, those calls come in from 8 to 5. And, they may get 2 calls in the morning and none in the afternoon. I don't know for sure, but still.
Somebody's still gotta be there.
Yeah, that's right. It's advertised for calls from 8 to 5. So I think the full-time position would fill that need. And
Can you have just like grant writer / transportation director / county clerk assistant?
Well, yeah, I think you'd advertise for a grant writer, but duties will also
include, there you go.
scheduling transportation and
That's
part-time
true.
work in the clerk's office. Part-time work in the court, or the clerk's office.
Yeah.
I so move, we do it.
Second.
Advertise, see where you're at
See
anyway.
where we're at.
Yeah.
You don't
I
have
agree.
to hire
Let's
them.
get it in and let's make a deadline of June 15th, and that way we'll have hopefully some applications in front of us on that day.
I won't give you enough time though.
It won't.
2 times?
If you have to advertise for 2 weeks, is what I'm getting at.
We could get it in this week.
You still can this week?
This is Tuesday, the Herald.
Okay.
is. So hurry up.
But it'd be coming out, what I'm getting after, it's gonna be coming out on the 14th for the second time, but
No, it'd come out on the 8th. This week it would come out on the 1st and then on the 8th. So that.
So you would get
Okay.
2 full weeks.
okay.
And you'd want it before the 15th, wouldn't you, like the 14th?
I'd love it, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to, it'd end on the 14th.
Yes.
13th, 14th, somewhere there.
What do you want?
13th best you can interview, but
Yeah.
And we're pushing for this because of the grants you're needing.
well, I don't, if there's others, but I need to figure out where we're going, whether
There's
we need to
others.
try to contract with someone else.
There's some others. Carol's been gracious enough to keep track of what she's already been applied for. She's working, I don't know, 8 hours a week just to track those that have already been applied for. Nothing new is being done at this time because they're kind of waiting on our decision whether we're going to hire, who we're going to hire. I mean, it'd be great to get somebody that has already got some experience in grant writing, and they could pick the other 2 things up fairly easily.
Well, is this company that you have, will they just write one grant for us? Or do we have to contract with them?
This will be a contract if, through this greater Northwest Kansas she Carroll's doing this, it's out of Bird City.
Right, that's where she went
okay.
to work for.
Alright.
That's where, yeah.
And she can't write for the.
She can't write the Dave G. Hansen one. So we're
Is
gonna, I
there
mean,
anybody-
ourselves, we're gonna have to try to figure out how to get that going, just the Dane G. Hansen, so we can get to going on
She
it.
did give me a name of a lady, and I believe she said she lived in Atwood, that will do contractual grant writing specifically. Like, she writes this
One
grant,
grant.
she's gonna charge us so much percentage of whatever the grant dollar amount is. So if we ask for $10,000, she'll do the grant, but she's gonna take 10%, is kind of the way I understood it. Now, we'll probably need to contact her and shore that up, but we can do that. In the meantime, maybe, I'm more in favor, let's see what we get in 2 weeks. Is that putting you in a bind? 2 weeks?
No, 2 weeks won't be a problem. I'd say if you want to go to the end of the month and study that a little harder, that's not a problem. I don't think, as long as we know what direction we're going.
Yeah, by then, we'll at least have an idea of who,
Oh, I thought you had to have something done by the 15th of June.
No, not the 15th of June, no.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
pretty soon I need to get the ball rolling and see where we're going with this, so,
Well, get out of here and quit bothering us then.
okay. Make a decision then.
How hard is it gonna be to transfer that phone down here? Transportation.
You guys are going to also meet June 30th, correct?
correct.
Okay. So if you interview someone, they're more than likely going to start 15th of July.
1st of July,
Okay.
I think we can get somebody in place in a month. We can just get the applications.
If you guys want to try for that, that's fine, so,
I think that's the best route we
okay.
have right now.
That'd be great.
Because we're kind of killing 3 birds with one stone here.
Even if we're pushing a little too fast, there'd be a 6-month grace period that if it doesn't work out, we don't have to keep them under contract.
True.
And
All right. Scott, we'll make that arrangement.
Ready for the full report? You thought you was going to get rid of
I
me?
thought we were done.
That looks like a toy.
It is a toy. Kind of do a recap on the start, kind of, because a lot of these numbers are going to change through the years, kind of tell you what happened through the year. Cheyenne County had very little snow removal, so therefore we started the early spring pulling shoulders, incorporating gravel on 20 miles of road. We dedicated several guys in July preparing and crushing concrete at the landfills. We rented equipment to do this process. Much of the summer was dedicated to improving the Parks Road for the asphalt overlay, in which venture completed. On the first weekend of September, we received a heavy rainfall in the north half of the county that entailed a lot of time repairing washouts, in which FEMA did reimburse us for our work. In the fall, the county commissioners decided to have the road department dig the cattails at the Keller Pond and improve that community project. All right, page 1 has a list of all our equipment. The next 3 pages is the equipment, serial number, the cost value, and then the present value. All right, on page 5 and 6, this is, when we do our work, we code a lot of this stuff, and you know, what work they're doing, things like this, and this kind of outlay, and all presented at the end of the year. I know we're a little late getting this report done, but because our software was down and what have you, with the computer, so.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I appreciate this kind of detail. It makes it so much easier to look, tell what we
Explain.
have, and tell what we have, what it's worth, what kind of condition it's in. I personally like it.
Page 7 is our gravel hauled and how much we paid for it, and things like that. And if I'm rushing, you guys say so. Actually, I know you'll spend nights up reading this.
Twice, huh?
There's a lot of good information in here.
So we had 5 signs vandalized last year?
No,
That's
it's
all?
we had very little vandalism last year. We have had probably more than that already this year, but not too bad. You catch them, and it's good for a few years.
I'm well versed there, I know that.
Yeah, and then it seems like spring comes around, and you have some problems again, so.
As soon as the weather warms up.
So-
As soon as the roads get muddy.
I noticed if we dig gravel out of a pond, we don't pay for it.
Some we don't, yes. The 2 we don't. And then I think there's 1 we do. So, we do Martin's. And I think,
Martin's the pond.
yes. But most of them are dry,
Most of them are dry pits,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. The one other that I don't really have listed here is Daly, and that's up in the corner, and we kind of made an agreement when we moved the road. He wanted to extend his pivot, so we wound up moving the road, and then there's a gravel pit right in the middle of it. So we're good for both of us. So we're still getting gravel. We got a cost against that road, and then we're crediting him as we're doing the gravel. So. Page 8 is a lot of cost per mile or cost per hour or whatever. And in case you're wondering on the graders, we was right at 800 hours a year average on them. So
How come there's so much difference in fuel costs in these 2 Fords? They got the same engine and transmission.
probably just how they fueled them up or something like that. I
You
don't
might
know.
get the injectors done in one of them. I'm guessing if it's costing you an extra 12 cents or so a mile, or
Yeah, one of them's got a 3208 and the other one has 1160.
well, they changed one then.
Well, but we don't use them enough.
Because, I mean, they all used to be identical. So I'm
Yeah, I
guessing
know they
somebody
used to be.
pulled one up.
But maybe one got filled up, no more miles we put on. We may have fueled one to end the year or something like that and did the other. So, pretty minor amount. The 601 loader, see, it had 0 cost per hours, but that was out the landfill most of the time, and we wound up moving it back and doing some pit work, and then we'll probably take it back. That is the road department's, but anyway, I know it kind of sits him out there.
That's the 966. That'll
Correct, it's 601, yeah, 966. When you get the budget page on 9, you'll see these notes at the bottom. Maybe that'll help clarify some of your questions on that. 2013, I wanted to do a bridge salary transfer, and the auditor wouldn't let me do that. So therefore, we showed the 0, and we was also minus on the road department that year. I think that's the only time we was in the red. So. And then now the newer auditors have lumped together the road and bridge salaries both. That's the reason there's a 0 on them last 2 years. But we still had this bridge budget money because we're trying to dispense some of that money that was carryover. That's the reason we're showing some 2015, 2016. I know it seems confusing, but
Wow.
you on page 10? Oh,
Yep. That's where you can get in trouble in budgets real quick.
yeah, especially when you look at
Diesel
your
and
diesel, yeah.
gas.
Yeah, that's what saved us the last couple of years is,
Price of fuel.
yeah,
214,000 versus 129,000.
yeah. Well, 220 in 2013, you know, versus
Yeah,
129.
220, yeah.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. All right, pages 11 through 15. This is the unit number, like if you was to go to that first page to find out what it was. And this is the sheets that we have to write down, you know, where we're putting oil in, where we're putting a tire on or something like that. And this is how we come up with these cost figures.
Again, I'm impressed.
Takes a long time to put these together, this good. But the advantage is, once you have the program, you get the hours and you do these weekly sheets, you know, or monthly. you
And
know,
the
these-
guys kind of put that stuff in?
Yes, the guys have to put in the hours that they work, stuff like that, or anything
Yeah,
that,
or like, but if they change oil, they,
yep.
Yeah, like when I worked for the state, they have, every vehicle the state owns has a car cost sheet. Every detail goes into that car cost sheet and is turned in monthly, whether it's a tire repair or, and it just makes life so much easier when you've got those kind of details.
Page 16, this is our major projects. Venture Corporation paved over the existing asphalt from North Street to River Street. We put that on 2 inches thick. They paved over, 2 inches thick, and we also had to widen that stretch. That was only 21 foot wide from the railroad tracks out to River Bridge out here. And that took quite a little time for us to do that. And next, then they paved over our double chip seal from the River Bridge going north 7,800 feet. And then the last, they paved over 7,500 feet paved over our gravel road with a 4-inch overlay. They did 2 lifts on that. This is also our highest average daily traffic count in the county, and we thought this was going to be our best option, utilizing the hot mix asphalt plant that they had out west. And then when it was done, we had to haul dirt on the edges and taper the shoulders. And I'm still kind of correcting some of the rocks on that in case you hear anything on that. So, the Barnhart Bridge, FAS 50, the middle section of the south end of this 1977 pre-stressed concrete structure had the girders breaking severely and needed to be replaced. We hired Whipper Construction to lift this 8-foot by 40-foot section out and install the new one. Note this section was installed backwards when originally built, and therefore it could not be welded to the other sections, which may have led to the premature failure on this. And I think the cost that we had in it right there was almost what they paid originally for them all 9 sections. So,
is that section still laying out there?
yeah.
I didn't even know where, I remember seeing a section of
Yeah.
concrete laying somewhere on it.
Yeah, it's out in Barnhart's pasture right there, so. Concrete crushing at the landfill, road department spent 518 hours crushing the concrete, and solid waste paid for the rental of the crusher. And then they also, I didn't know, they also paid for the jaw crusher, because we had to prepare and size the material before it could be crushed. We normally contract this job out, but we felt we could save some money by doing the work ourselves and just renting the crusher. The other advantage is it was during the summer, it was a little slower, and then some new guys got the experience, how to run excavators, things like that. So that's a plus.
And what do we do with this crushed concrete? I mean,
We're selling it.
selling it.
The dirtier stuff we've been using on spots on roads, but
So if you come out ahead yet?
you don't know the exact tonnage, so you don't know. But I'm pretty sure we will, because there's still a lot of crushed material out
Really
there.
keep records of when it comes in.
No, I don't think, I don't, a lot of it we bring in, we don't log. So,
Now, damn hard is it to run it across the scale? We used to when I was there. I mean, I could have told you down to the last 20 pounds what the hell there was in there.
okay, I don't think so,
I mean,
but I
all
need
you
to
had to
follow.
do was just
You're
market
right,
concrete in the little box.
but you used to charge for it too.
No, not the road department, but down there in the little box, I wrote no charge.
Okay,
That's how you do that.
yeah. I need to follow up on that, so.
If you want to know if you're losing or making money, that would be the way to do that.
But even after you run it, well, I guess, yeah, you know the tonnage then, so.
Well, you can figure out that way you can track how much you lose by the crush and how much turns back into sand and what you've lost, what you've gained. And, I mean, we was making about $12 a ton on that stuff. Actually making it, because we was only spending $8 to get it crushed. And so with the $20 a ton with it coming in, and then you factor it back and forth and the loading and everything, we still make about $12.
We was charging 10 bringing it in, and then charging 15 for the crushed. Is where we're at with that, so. On the Keller Pond project, we utilized the excavator and crane to clean the cattails out and reestablish the pond. We got that in $20,481 in 2016, and then we got some more this year. So. And then on the FEMA disaster, we had several roads damaged and a 72-inch by 40-foot culvert that needed to be replaced. FEMA reimbursed us 75%, and the state of Kansas Division of Emergency Management reimbursed us 10%. Project cost was $48,000, and like I say, FEMA paid us $43,500, and KDM paid us $5,800 roughly. So. And say the next 2 pages are graphs and self-explanatory.
What does graders cost? That we're gonna have in 2017?
I should know off the top of my head.
I couldn't remember either.
Okay, I'll look that up. If I have that.
It was 170 something.
It's 270, but I don't remember what a trade was. No, I don't have that in my file. I got it in the other.
Well, they've given us like 70,000 trade.
Yeah, I was thinking, this is our old, I don't have the updated one, so.
So we're gonna be pretty high on equipment purchases next year.
Yeah, yeah. as a rule, the parts, a lot of times, will reflect the equipment within a year or something like that, so. And then the next 2 pages, the work that was completed, and then the work that is projected.
You feel you're getting enough roads gravelled in a year?
We need to do more, no doubt about that.
It'll just look like
We're tapering off and
Right about
dedicating,
50.
the last couple of years, we've probably been dedicating more time to incorporating gravel. Getting it stirred in, mixed up, instead of having it loose on top, so. That's the reason that's down.
Yeah, drive that Long Ridge Road, you can see how that looks.
It's better.
It couldn't have got much worse.
Yeah, you're right, it had trouble, I was grateful there wasn't any more complainers than there was, so. Now, this last part of this is that annual report that we have to send in for this county engineer's annual report. It's on page 9. It says we got 14 miles asphalt, 817 of gravel or rock, and then 223 of dirt for a total of 1,054 miles that the county maintains. And all these numbers, we got to go through and do some calculations or whatever to come up with that. Page 10, how they arrive at a lot of this. They have these categories that you go through.
getting plumb off the subject, that how does Thomas County oil so many miles of road?
They, over there, I know 30 years ago, they had more money that they spend on asphalt than our county did total. But they're also a township system. They take care of so many county miles. Say, for instance, it would be our FAS roads. They just maintain them. And then the township take care of their own little territory.
I know they, from Brewster, they go to the county line south and they go to the county line north.
That township
Oil.
thing is so confusing though, because each township has their own equipment, their own operators.
That's how Yuma County is too.
And I know it drives county commissioners completely crazy.
Now, Yuma County, they have districts. Say, for instance, you manage your district, and Ed manages his district.
Right.
And Bankman actually went back to that. They was kind of a group, but they went back to their own district. It was probably 3 years ago that they kind of worked together, and now they kind of fell apart. But the problem with that in Yuma County, you decide that you need a dozer, so you buy one. Well, then Terry, once one is, they won't share. They have to buy their own, and they only put like 100 hours a year on it, where we can do everything. One of the other things in Kansas, Decatur County has their county and township. They take care of so many county roads, and then they're contracted to do some townships, and then other townships still manage their own. But the county still has to maintain all the bridges, and which is a huge cost.
That's a totally complicated system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sure like it where it's one county unit, just like when we had that storm, we had a foot of snow down here. And then the next Monday, we're up here graveling on this end of the world.
When I went to the commissioners meeting in January, I sat with a couple of commissioners that had townships, and they were envious of us. Because it just comes out to be well, they get this, why can't we have one? And they have two of this, why can't we have three? And it just makes for a mess.
Well, for instance, like 10 years ago, Dundee County, at Hagler, they had two dump trucks, one loader and one spreader man. So then they go to hauling gravel. Well, your grader and loader man aren't doing anything, and the other, I mean, very little, because they gotta wait for them to get back. You know, where we're county unit, and we got 4 semis, and everybody's busy then,
Yeah.
utilizing your money much better,
I agree.
so.
Very nice.
I can thank Kelly for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm glad Kel wrote that up for
Yes, yeah, she does a great job. That's all I got.
you. All
Thank
right.
you, Dave.
I appreciate
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We're done then, huh? Well, I move we adjourn.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so we've got the ad going in the paper. We need to talk to county attorney about Amanda's